Well, today we're going to talk about a brain danger. A brain danger. Here's our sign. Oh no, brain danger. The danger we're going to talk about today is media violence. Media violence.
What is that?
What is that exactly? That's what I was going to ask. What is that? What's media violence?
Media violence is kind of like bad stuff going into your brain.
Bad stuff going into your brain. Good answer. How would you know if something is violent? Like, how would you know?
If it doesn't have appropriate language.
If it doesn't have good language, that's one
If
way.
they fight and kill each other.
Oh, fighting and killing each other. That is violent, isn't
Oh
it?
no!
Yeah. Now, let me ask you something. Where do you think you find violent media? Like, where would you see something that's
Video
violent?
games.
So, video games?
TV.
Where else?
Movies.
Movies?
TV.
TV?
You can tell because of
The
the names
Sometimes.
and the picture on the front.
And the
Those are
ratings.
very good clues. Very good. And we're going to talk about that. The name of it, the picture on the front, and the ratings. Those all help you to know if something is violent.
And also, you can also see TV commercials about them and know they're violent.
That is so true. Good answer.
Yes.
Did you know that if you watch TV a lot, kids that watch TV a lot, by the time they're old enough to graduate from high school, they have seen 200,000 acts of violence on TV, like murders. Isn't that sad? Now, do you think that matters? Like, does it matter if I'm not being violent myself and I'm just watching it? Does that do anything bad?
Sometimes you can.
Why would it be bad?
Because it damages your brain.
What do you think? Why would that be bad for us?
Because it sort of like gets it in your brain, and so you like sort of remember it.
And
Yeah.
sometimes scares you.
It sometimes scares you.
And sometimes you can tell by the movie cover. So if you ever see it in a movie but you didn't see it coming, you just don't watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So how does that make you feel? That's a really good example. When you're watching something and you couldn't tell from the cover of the video or something that it was going to be violent, but then you're watching it and you see something violent, how do you feel?
I feel sad.
You feel sad?
And I feel scared because there
Good.
might be a murderer behind my door.
Well,
That's true.
you know what? Everything you've said is absolutely right. Violence hurts your brain. It hurts your feelings, doesn't it? Did you know that watching things that are violent make kids be more aggressive? What does aggressive mean?
It means
What do you think?
mean.
They're mean to each other.
Yeah.
Bully.
Yeah.
Bullying.
They bully a lot.
Yeah.
And they want to kill people when they grow up.
They torment
It
people. Yeah.
Oh, you know,
They torment.
being aggressive means that they don't know ways to solve problems that are peaceful, right? They might fight more on the playground. You know what else happens with kids who watch lots of violence? It means that they stop caring very much about people being hurt.
Real world.
Yeah. Let me tell you why this happens. It's an amazing chemical that's called dopamine. And we need dopamine because dopamine is what tells our body to go. It helps us to like to do things, to eat, to play with our friends, to feel happy, right? But when sometimes our brain gets tricked, and if we see something that is shocking, our brain thinks that it might be good for us, and so it dumps lots of dopamine into our brain. Well, what happens when we get this rush of dopamine is the brain goes, wait a minute, too much. And so it shuts down these receptors to be able to feel happy. And so pretty soon, things that used to be fun and exciting, like playing with our friends or things, aren't very fun anymore. Shut down. Right? And when it shuts down, guess what happens? This part of your brain starts to shrink. Uh-oh. Did you know there was a study at a university, and there were a bunch of college students, and they did a test, and they said, half of you guys are going to play video games that are just fun and they're not violent, and the other half of you are going to play really violent games for 1 week, only 1 week. And then guess what? They took a picture of their brains, and their brains actually shrunk right here. Did you know that movies have ratings?
Yes.
Yeah, so G stands for general audiences. Look, there's moms and dads and kids, right? That's probably one that doesn't have violent things in it, right? PG, what does PG stand for? What do you think it stands for?
It stands for parents' guidance.
Parental guidance. That means you'd need to ask your mom or dad if that's okay for you to watch, huh? PG-13?
Usually you need to be 13 to watch.
Probably you wouldn't even want to watch it if you were younger than 13. But you know what? If you're 13, do you have to watch movies that are PG-13 or? No, you can say, you know what? I'm looking at the cover of that. I've heard about it. I don't think that's going to be good for my brain, right? What about R?
No.
Or NC-17?
No.
You know what? Not a good idea, huh? I can tell that those things are not going to be good for my brain ever. So let's look at a couple of movies and see if we can find the rating. So, Despicable Me 2. I like this one. Okay, on the front I don't see a rating, but let's look on the back. Oh my goodness, it's kind of small. Can you see it right there at the bottom? Right there it says PG, parental guidance. That means if I ask my mom or dad, it probably doesn't have anything too offensive or too violent in it. Let's look at another one. Ponyo, oh my goodness, love Ponyo. Let's look at the back of that. Where is it? G. Do you see that? General audiences. That's probably a good one I could watch with my little brothers and little sisters. So now I know how to check a movie before I watch it so that I won't have to be surprised by violent stuff inside. Here we have video games. I'm going to put those right here. Wow, they are big black letters, aren't they? What do you think that one's for?
Early childhood.
Early childhood. That might be for little kids, huh? That would be okay for your little brothers or little sisters. What about this one?
Everyone.
Everyone. I like that one. That means I can play it. You can play it, right? I don't have to worry too much about there being violence in that.
10 plus.
10 plus?
That would
Everyone
be a bit more
10 and older.
Yeah.
That means that none of us can.
Well,
Maybe.
I chose to. I sometimes play them, but they're not very violent.
Not very violent. That's probably something we'd probably want to ask our moms or dads before we play any new game. What about T?
Teen. That's more violent.
You know what? Some teen games have a lot of violence in them.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some games that your older brothers or older sisters might want to play, maybe you will make the choice not to. Because you'll go, you know what? I'm protecting my brain. I don't think I want to play anything violent.
One time I did that when we were watching a movie, I said it was low, even though it wasn't violent, they're just people being rude, so I said I didn't want to watch it.
Good for you. You are making a good choice for your brain, aren't you?
Hey, I
Okay,
did
well let's review a couple things you can do to protect your brain power. Okay, can you read these for me? Play games that are rated E. Ask your parent before playing a new game and think of the real consequences. Our tic-tac-toe, one more time. What does tic-tac-toe stand for?
Turn it off, talk to a parent, turn to something active.
Yeah. Sometimes if you've seen something that maybe is a little bit violent, sometimes you might feel a little bit scared or yucky, or maybe it's even hard to go to sleep. Has that ever happened? But if you talk to a parent, it helps remove that from your mind so that you don't have to worry about it anymore. And then when you turn to something active, it replaces that in your brain so that you're able to think about happy things. Okay?
One time, I saw something violent on TV, and then I couldn't go to sleep. But then my dad read me a story, and then I finally fell asleep.
Oh, what a great idea. We need our moms and dads, don't we, to help us make some good choices with media. Thanks. I know you guys are going to do things to boost your brain power. Have an awesome day.